All right, Algebra 1 students, let's look at Unit 4, Lesson 15, Inverse Functions. Our goals are, I understand the meaning of inverse function and how it could be found. So we have this idea of inverse functions, and we're going to be looking at how we find inverse functions so that we can connect the inverse function to the original function. When given a linear function that represents a situation, I can use words and equations to describe the inverse function. So when we have our original linear equation, we need to be able to create the inverse function and be able to describe what's happening within that situation. So we have one vocabulary term here, which is inverse function. And the definition is an input-output pairs, or when input-output pairs are reversed. So this looks like this. In one function, an input of A is taken to an output of B. So we have A as our input, B as our output. But then in the inverse function, that gets reversed. The inverse function would take B as an input to A as an output. So notice the B, which was the output, now becomes the input, and the A, which was the input, becomes the output. They reverse the order of the two. All right, to understand this a little bit better, we're going to look at coding or encoding messages, just like they would have done in like wars to get a message from one place to another without the enemy figuring out what it means. So here we have an encoded message, which is a message converted into a code, and it is the first word WRGDB, second word LV, third word D, fourth word JRRG, and fifth word GDB. So the question is, can you figure out what it says in English? So can you try and decode what I have here? And then if you can decode it, I want to know, how was the original message encoded? What was the kind of math problem that created this weird, these weird words from the English original words? So try and figure this out. Bring your thoughts and your efforts to class tomorrow, and then that will start our discussion on inverse functions. Thanks.